Ready to learn more about the Secure Act 2.0 without reading the 4,000-page report? Well, we are going to dig right into it today and discuss the most compelling and important changes that you should know about right now on UBS Trending. Well, hi, everyone, and welcome to UBS Trending. I'm Anthony Pastore. So my colleagues from the Chief Investment Office, Ainsley Carbone and Justin Waring, are my guests today. So welcome to both of you. I want to get right into it. And here's the thing, and Ainsley, maybe I'll start with you. We talk a lot about the Secure Act 2.0, that it's now the law of the land. It's here. A lot of information and some changes in there that are really compelling for our audience. But it talks a lot about the changes to required minimum distributions, or an acronym. We love acronyms around here, RMDs. Some audience members may know what they are, some may not, some may have very specific knowledge about them, some not at all. So before we talk about the changes, let's talk about RMDs. Just give us a brief overview of what an RMD is and why our audience needs to know what they are and what they mean to them.
Absolutely. So when we are in our working years, we're contributing to retirement accounts. These retirement account contributions are typically made on a pre-tax basis. What that means is you don't pay any income tax on those dollars yet, at least when it comes to a traditional or tax-deferred retirement account. So as that money is in there and growing, we don't have to pay taxes on it at all. Once we get to retirement and take that money out, we have the option to take out that money and owe income tax on those dollars.
So there are minimum amounts that a retirement plan participant has to withdraw once they hit a certain age, which we're going to talk about momentarily.
Yes, exactly. So all these years you haven't paid income tax on those dollars. Well, at some point the IRS wants to get their money, so they created these required minimum distributions. So they start at different ages now because of the Secure 2.0 Act, but you take the money out, small amounts, and then as you get older they get larger and larger and larger, with the idea in mind that you'll take the money out and owe taxes on them to the IRS.
Right. And Justin, do those apply to all employer-sponsored retirement plans?
Yes, and to IRAs as well. So any retirement, tax-deferred retirement account is going to be subject to RMDs. And
what about, can you withdraw more from more than the required minimum distribution for most accounts?
Yes.
Yeah, and
yes,
that's actually the trick here, is that, the minimum is just a guideline. The IRS would like you to be taxed on it before you die. And so these are designed to basically force you to take an ever increasing amount as you go through retirement, so that it will be fully taxed or mostly taxed by the time that that you pass away.
Right. Angel, did you have something else to add to that?
No, nothing else to really add on to that.
So let's then talk about the Secure Act 2.0, which, as we know, at the beginning of the year, it passed. Certainly there are some things that still have to come from the IRS in specificity. But let's talk about, Ainsley, what are some of the top changes, now that we know what required minimum distributions are, to the RMDs within the Secure Act 2.0?
So I just want to start by saying the Secure 2.0 has so many different provisions in it, but they're not all effective right away. The change to the required minimum distribution is one of the few that are effective in beginning in 2023. So what this change is, well, someone who had turned 72 last year, that person had to start their required minimum distributions at that age.
Prior to Secure Act.
Yes,
right.
Prior to Secure 2.0. Now, in 2023, if you turn age 72, you get one extra year to hold those assets in that retirement account. So you have one more year where you're not forced to take that required minimum distribution. So just to make it a little bit easier for you, if you look at the screen here, you'll see that if you were born between 1951 and 1959, then the age that you have to start your required minimum distributions is age 73. However, if you were born in 1960 or later, then you are able to delay your required minimum distribution until age 75.
Terrific. And Justin, what other changes? I know that there's some of the changes in there that Roth IRAs may not be a part of Secure Act, especially when it comes to required minimum distributions. What's happening there?
Yeah, so there used to be a difference between Roth 401ks and Roth IRAs and whether they have to have lifetime required minimum distributions. The Secure Act basically makes it so you don't have to worry about RMDs for those accounts. At the end of the day, those RMDs for a Roth account. A Roth account is generally tax exempt on distributions. So it wouldn't affect your taxes necessarily, but it was kind of an administrative hassle. And so a lot of people before this change would roll their Roth 401k into an IRA where it was exempt. Now they're both exempt from RMDs.
That makes it a little less complicated too, doesn't it, for the average person? So that's good. And Justin, also sticking with you, I understand also in Secure Act 2.0, the penalty for failing to make the RMD also decreased, right?
Yeah, that's right. They reduced it, and they also made it so the penalty could be even lower if you treat it, if you basically fix it really, really quickly. But really, one of the main things that we advise our clients to do is, you should not be going based on the minimum anyway. You should be probably doing more than the minimum in order to reduce your lifetime tax burden.
Terrific. Thanks, Justin. So let's talk about what these changes mean for investors, particularly our clients who are here at UBS working with our FAs. So Ainsley, just top down, what does this mean for them? I know Justin kind of touched on it a little bit there.
Yeah, so when we're talking about the change being the increase of the age for the required minimum distribution, Justin kind of just touched on it, but just thinking about your own retirement account. Over time, as it's growing, you haven't, again, paid taxes on this money yet, as long as it's a traditional or tax-deferred account. Then all of a sudden you get to age 72 or 73 or 75, and your account value has grown so much, but now you have to start taking distributions, and now you have to start paying taxes on those dollars. So over time, that tax burden is getting larger and larger and larger. So that's exactly why Justin was kind of touching on that earlier, is that if you can take those distributions a little bit earlier before you're required to do so, it can help to lower that future tax burden. So you asked earlier, is that required minimum distribution the only amount you can take? No. You can take more than that required minimum distribution, and in some instances you may want to during those later years or even earlier when you're in those lower income tax brackets, because it can help you get that money out at a lower rate.
Which makes a lot of sense, because in the long run you'll be saving more money on your side or having more money to invest versus paying it to the IRS. And what's the age, Justin, what's the age that someone can actually start taking out those required minimum distributions early?
So, I mean, in general, a distribution from an IRA should be happening after you're age 59 and a half, but you can actually you can basically take the tax bite earlier by doing a Roth conversion. So you convert pre-tax IRA or 401k contributions into a Roth account, voluntarily paying some tax on that conversion amount. And you could do that at any time. One of the things that we really recommend is essentially doing a series of Roth conversions to smooth out your taxable income over the course of your retirement years. This allows you to basically reduce the amount of RMDs you're going to pay in the future, and that helps you to avoid putting a lot of taxable income into your late retirement years when it might force you into a higher tax bracket. If we can bring that chart back up again, showing marginal and effective tax rates, it's helpful to just remember when we make a pre-tax IRA contribution, the goal is to reduce our taxable income during our working years. When we are trying to manage our distributions strategy during retirement, what we're really trying to do is stay out of the higher tax brackets. And so if you keep your taxable income smooth throughout your whole life, as opposed to having it bunched up in your working years and bunched up in late retirement, it helps you stay out of the higher tax brackets, helps you lower your effective tax rate, and therefore, really realize the ambition of these tax-deferred retirement accounts, which is to essentially reduce the tax burden, reduce the amount of taxes you pay throughout your lifetime on your earned income.
Terrific. This is great because I want to share this with all of my friends who are going to be in their 50s pretty soon and even 60s to say, you don't have to wait until you're 72, 73, and then, 75, depending on what year you were born, to start helping yourself now. And obviously, as we all say, the best thing to do to talk about your own individual strategy is to connect with your financial advisor. Look, I hate to stop the conversation, but we want to make sure we get this all out for you. Terrific stuff. And there's more to be found from CIO, all of our terrific colleagues there, by going to the investment research section of our insights page. And the address there is ubs.com/ /views. And you can also follow all of us on social media. Lots of content from the CIO there. We're on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Plus, all of our past UBS Trending episodes are available for you on demand. And remember, speak with your financial advisor if you have any questions about anything we talked about today. Until next time, I'm Anthony Pastore. Have a great rest of your day, and remember to keep your eyes on what's trending. See you soon, everybody.